cool that Toledo has such a rich jazz community with a ton of artists making that possible. My name is Stevie with NBC24, and we are currently at the Glass City Center. I know it doesn't look too jazzy on the outside, but on the inside, it's kind of sweet. So let's take a closer look. Here, I have Rachel Richardson with me. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Good.
So explain to us who you are, what is it that you do, and things like that.
Okay. My name is Rachel Richardson. I'm a public art coordinator here in Toledo, and also I have a long history with the jazz community in Toledo. I'm a jazz performer, or I was a long time ago.
So kind of walk us through that journey and how you got inspired to do that.
Well, for this particular project, my husband, Yusuf Latif, submitted a proposal to do a public art project here in the Glass City Center, and at the time the call was to talk about what is something that is specific to Toledo culture, and then what we came up with sort of naturally because of my history and because it's just facts is that jazz and glass are long-standing legacies that musicians such as Art Tatum, John Hendricks, international musicians have made Toledo famous for. And then we also have these local families of musicians, Rusty's Jazz Cafe and Murphy's Place, clubs that were the homes to this community of jazz musicians who some of them are still with us and many of them are not. So this was a way for us to honor them.
Awesome. So kind of talk to us about why is jazz important to Toledo?
Besides the fact that Art Tatum and John Hendricks are from here, because they both really are phenoms and icons, we just have always had, there have been some lulls from time to time, but for the most part we've always had a really strong jazz scene. Our universities have sort of churned out jazz musicians. We've got Ramona Collins, who is on the wall. She mentors young musicians and brings up what she would call, or we would call, the young lions to continue to learn the craft of playing jazz live. So it's just something that Toledo has always sort of been about.
So where do you see jazz going in? Like, what direction do you see jazz going in today?
We've got a great thing with Lucille's at Toll House. It's a great jazz club. And I also think that festivals are becoming a much bigger deal here. We have now the Glass City Jazz Festival. We have the Maumee River Jazz Festival at Walbridge Park. The H Factor has had a jazz festival for years at Ottawa Park. So I think that in the summer we really come alive with jazz, and I'd like to see that happen year round with just like larger scale jazz events.
Awesome. So I'm seeing all these pictures behind you. So talk to me a little bit about that. Who are some of the people that are in these photos and what inspired you to create that?
I was lucky enough to be around at the end of Rusty's and Murphy's. They were long-standing jazz clubs, but I worked at both of them in the early 2000s. They both closed around 2006, 2008 or 9, I think. So I was lucky enough to know a lot of the people, but there's like 50 years of jazz history in these photographs. There's,
oh, wow.
Yeah, there's people who played at Rusty's and Murphy's that have just been around forever. Some, like I said, some of them are still with us, some of them are not. So this is just an opportunity, and there's sort of a tradition in jazz clubs to have photos cover the walls, because I think that jazz as an art form is sort of like a rolling mentorship type. It grows because we bring up the youngsters. Like, I learned how to be a jazz singer because Leon Cook let me come up on stage while I was, like I was serving drinks at the club, and then I'd have a minute where I had a chance to go up and sing like an Etta James song or something. Like, he didn't mind taking a risk on like a little 22-year-old kid coming up there and trying out her chops, you know, and that is really the tradition. So I think keeping memories alive kind of keeps that sort of constant flow of generational growth and, you know, progress.
And that's very interesting. So where can people follow you on your journey, and where can people, how can people find this place?
I guess the Glass City Center website would probably be a good place to start as far as what's going to happen here. Right now, I would say just come down here and be here, because it just feels really good. And you know, people who have a history with the jazz community in Toledo, they know these people, and these are our community members, these are our friends, our family. So I would say just come down here and just be among it, and hopefully we'll be able to activate the space more often and like get some music playing in here and stuff. So I'm looking forward to what people can experience when they come here.
Awesome. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.